It's about 8 p.m. My roommates have left for the weekend, leaving behind a quiet and peaceful house. Taking advantage of their absence, I've invited a few friends over for a relaxing evening at home. But for now, I'm alone, savoring this moment of tranquility before their arrival. A silence broken only by the steady ticking of the hall clock. I'm slumped on the sofa when a buzzing noise catches my attention. It's my phone on the coffee table, vibrating softly. I reach for it, expecting a message from a friend announcing his arrival. But instead, the screen displays an unknown number and a simple message: "I'm here." I look around, then instinctively head for the front door, thinking that one of my friends has arrived earlier than expected. I open the door, but to my surprise, there's no one there. The neighborhood is silent, broken only by the distant melody of a song playing on a radio. A mistake on the part of the recipient? Probably. Or maybe one of my buddies playing a joke. I close the door and turn the key in the lock, seeking comfort in this harmless gesture. The silence is suddenly broken by a soft, almost nostalgic melody. I recognize it immediately. The sound is too specific for me to forget. It's my flatmate's old music box, the one he inherited from his grandmother. Why is it playing now? I'm sure of it. It was kept in a drawer in his room. Just as I'm about to go up the stairs, a new message arrives on my phone. The same unknown number appears. "I'm here. Can't you see me?" My heart starts beating 1,000 times an hour. I'm beginning to think this isn't a mistake. Someone is clearly trying to scare me. I finally gather my courage and head upstairs. Each step creates a creaking sound that echoes in the stairwell. The music does indeed seem to be coming from my roommate's room. I open the door slowly, and there, resting prominently on the bed, the music box. Why is it on the bed? I'm sure it was stored in a drawer. My flatmate never took it out, and he was away for the weekend. My heart is racing, and I'm beginning to think I might not be alone in the house. Suddenly, a cold breeze crosses my back. My gaze wanders to the end of the corridor, where the shadow of the bathroom looms in the half-light. The door, barely ajar, lets out an icy draft. My steps, albeit hesitant, lead me towards it. I open the door slowly. The bathroom window is wide open, the curtain billowing in the wind. Anxiety mounts. My whole body is on alert. A shiver runs through me. Not because of the cold, but because I had closed that window barely an hour ago. Then the terrifying evidence hits me. There's definitely someone in the house with me. There's a thud downstairs, and then footsteps. They're slow, regular, as if someone's walking around. I hold my breath. I've got to call the police. I reach into my pockets, but my phone, it's still on the sofa. I decide to descend slowly, my heart begging me to turn back, but the need to retrieve my phone pushes me forward. With each step, I cast furtive glances around me, trying to make out the slightest movement, but nothing. Nobody. Just this oppressive silence. Finally, I reach the living room, my phone still on the coffee table. I approach it, listening for the slightest noise. As I reach for the device, a new message appears. "Did you like the melody?" My blood runs cold. In an act of desperation, I dial the police number. But before I can press the call button, an icy hand closes over my shoulder. I turn around abruptly, but there's no one there. The living room is empty. A brutal slam jolts me from my state of terror. The front door has just opened and slammed shut, as if the intruder had fled. The minutes that follow are a blur, but when the police sirens finally sound, a sort of relief washes over me. Yet their search is in vain. No trace of the stranger, no fingerprints, nothing. Only this message on my phone proves that someone was there. But who? And why? I've never had an answer to these questions. Since that night, I'm always afraid of receiving another message or hearing that music box again. One thing's for sure. I'll never be home alone again. It's Friday, and my parents are away for the weekend. I will finally be able to enjoy the living room alone, watching a good horror movie. The one that gives you chills but doesn't traumatize you to the point of no longer knowing how to sleep. The house is a somewhat creaky old building with dark nooks and creaks that frequently echo when walking around. Many would find it frightening, but I like it. The home has a bold personality. The evening starts well, and everything is there to have a good time. I sit on the sofa, adjust the cushions, open a packet of candy, and put on the film. Nightfall plunges the room into darkness, lit only by the television screen and the bluish reflections it cast on the walls. It's the perfect atmosphere. About an hour later, as the movie reaches its scariest moment, a noise startles me. It's like a creak but different from the usual house noises. It is more supported and close to the part. I pause the movie, listen, but nothing. I laugh at my own paranoia and then resume the film, convinced that my imagination is playing tricks on me. A few minutes later, my beer empty, I decide to get something to drink to relax. And that's when I see her. The front door is ajar, which is very weird, as I'm sure I left it locked. My heart is racing as I approach to close it. This is the kind of moment when you feel like a hand is suddenly going to grab your arm. Yet the door was just ajar. Nothing was forced or broken. I double-check that it's closed and lock it again, convincing myself that I must have closed it the wrong way. Back in the living room, I try to immerse myself in the film, but the floor of the house starts to creak again. Unable to concentrate, those intrusive noises, the open door, that's not normal. My thoughts are confused, and I have a bad feeling. What if someone came into my house while I was watching the movie? I pause the movie again and walk around the house to check every door and window. Nothing. Nobody. I try to convince myself that I'm just a little paranoid because of the film, but the anxiety doesn't leave me. I walk back into the living room, trying to convince myself that I'm a little paranoid about the movie, when the anxiety suddenly hits me again. The picture frame that was on the living room dresser has been knocked over. It's a photo of our family, and I didn't touch it. Who could have done it? It couldn't have been a draft, as the frame is too heavy. Fear overwhelms me. Am I really alone? I grab a baseball bat from my dad's bedroom and begin to search the entire house, room by room, even in the most ridiculous places. The kitchen, empty. The rooms, empty. The bathroom, empty. I go up to the attic, the stairs creaking under my weight, every weird sound making me increasingly nervous. The attic is messy as usual, but nothing out of the ordinary. I go back down, a little calmer, but I can't get rid of this anxiety-stricken feeling. Once I arrived in the living room, I thought about it again. The double of the keys. In the dresser drawer. How did I not think of that right away? I rush to open it and realize with horror that the duplicate house keys are gone. No more doubt. Someone entered. Someone who knows our home. Someone who was maybe watching me when I was quietly watching my movie. I then decide to change strategy and shout out loud, "I know you are there. I will call the police." The curtains in the living room instantly started moving all over the place, freezing me in place. I swear. At that moment, a black figure rushed out and walked through the locked door. I was petrified at what I had seen. After a few moments, I approach the front door, and what do I see on the ground? The duplicate key to the house. It stayed in the house as if it couldn't walk through the door with the figure. The next day, I searched the house from top to bottom. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was moved. My parents come home, and I decide not to tell them anything. How could I without proof? Since that day, every noise, every creak of the house resonates in me like a dark secret, a veiled threat, an enigma that refuses to be solved. Home was never the same for me.